Dusclops is one of the few Ghost-type Pokemon available in Gen 3, and that alone gives it a lot of value, as Ghost is one of the most powerful types in the game. Gengar is by far the most popular Ghost type in the format, and one of the most central threats, but as far as alternative Ghost types go, Dusclops really sets itself apart. Dusclops is defined by its incredible defensive stats, making it the bulkiest Ghost type available in Gen 3. It's one of the few Ghost types that can take advantage of Stab Shadow Ball, and it has a great move pool beyond that too, with various useful coverage and utility options. In the very early days of Gen 3 OU, Dusclops was quite popular, but over time, this popularity faded. Dusclops is easily chipped down by sand and spikes, and also quite passive and easy to take advantage of, compared to the much more consistent Gengar. Even in the realm of alternative Ghost types, Misdreavus has recently risen in popularity as a more desirable option than Dusclops, thanks to that crucial immunity to spikes and some important utility moves. But I personally think Dusclops is a little bit underrated. I've had a good amount of success myself with Dusclops in tournaments, and on the right team, it can really work. Let's take a look at the unique advantages of using Dusclops as your Ghost type of choice in Gen 3 OU. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for your own safety against various looming threats. Thank you. Ghost types are amazing in competitive Pokemon, but especially in Gen 3. Not only are they immune to two common types, normal and fighting, they only have two weaknesses to Ghost and Dark, which are pretty uncommon attacking types in Gen 3. Rapid Spin is a normal type attack that removes hazards from the field. Since Ghost types are immune to normal type attacks, they can completely prevent Rapid Spin's hazard removal effect and keep the enemy at a disadvantage. In Gen 3, spikes are a central strategy, and Rapid Spin is the only way to remove them. Another important immunity for Ghost types is to Explosion, another normal type attack. Explosion is an extremely common move in Gen 3, with its massive base power and a defense halving effect. Explosion is commonly used as a means to trade with important enemy Pokemon to support your teammates. Ghost types are not only immune to Explosion, if the enemy uses Explosion against them, they still faint. This is absolutely enormous, and means that correctly predicting Explosion can put you very far ahead. Gengar is the most common Ghost type, not only because of its great offensive stats and damage output with wide coverage, but also because of its myriad immunities. Gengar is immune to normal, fighting, and ground type attacks, immune to poison effects, immune to spikes damage, and immune to Dugtrio's Arena Trap effect. So what is the advantage of Dusclops? Being the bulkiest Ghost type in the game has its benefits. Dusclops can effectively switch in against the two most common Rapid Spinners, Claydol and Starmie, and not be that afraid of their incoming attacks. Dusclops is also one of the only Ghost types that can take advantage of Stab Shadow Ball, and conveniently, the two most common Rapid Spinners are weak to Ghost. Although other Ghost types are frail and very threatened by Pursuit from Tyranitar, Dusclops can comfortably live a Pursuit. It'll be left quite low afterwards, but not as low as a defensive Gengar, and with rest and support from your team, you can often heal your Dusclops back up and keep spin blocking with it. Dusclops has much more longevity than Gengar and can actually stick around for a very long time. Dusclops is commonly used alongside Dugtrio, so something you can do against Pursuit Tyranitar is switch straight into Dugtrio. They'll do damage to Dusclops instead of Dugtrio, meaning your Dugtrio will be healthy enough to live a crunch and 2-hit KO Tyranitar, eliminating it and keeping Dusclops completely safe for the remainder of the game. Another advantage of Dusclops over other Ghosts is its great matchup into Snorlax. Snorlax has access to Shadow Ball, giving it a way to predict an incoming Gengar and do serious damage to it. But Dusclops can take this Shadow Ball much more comfortably than any other Ghost type, and it also has great tools to prevent Cursed Snorlax from winning in a 1v1. The player ABR was experimenting with Dusclops not too long ago, and realized that Imprison was a great option against Snorlax. Imprison is a move that prevents the enemy from using any moves that you have yourself. Since Dusclops can learn both Shadow Ball and Rest, this prevents Snorlax from hitting you with Shadow Ball and also prevents it from using Rest. With a Will-O-Wisp to cripple Snorlax and Imprison to prevent it from healing up and removing the burn, Dusclops totally shuts down a Pokemon that would otherwise be a very tough matchup for certain teams. A lot of defensive teams can struggle in the Snorlax matchup, especially when they aren't using Tyranitar to create sand. A Snorlax with without sand on the field get so much value from leftovers healing, and if they have Magneton support to take out your Skarmory, things get very dangerous very quickly. Snorlax is extremely bulky and could snowball out of control if your team is too passive to actually apply pressure to it and stop it from boosting up. Dusclops remedies this issue very well, not only providing your team with a spin blocker to keep your spikes on the field and help you against Claydol and Starmie, but also a way to handle Snorlax, who would otherwise completely destroy your team. Dusclops is best used on very defensive teams. Teammates like Aromatherapy Blissey to cure your rest, Dugtrio to take out Pursuit Tyranitar, and more Pokemon that are great in late game situations, like Suicune, Melodic, and Claydol, work very well with Dusclops. Sunny Day or Rain Dance on random Pokemon just to clear sand from the field also help Dusclops out a lot, allowing it to chip heal with leftovers and enhance that longevity even further. On top of all these great advantages, Dusclops has the ability Pressure, an amazing ability on defensive teams. Pressure causes the enemy to waste twice as much PP on their moves used against you. This has a lot of useful applications, letting you win in endgames against passive enemies and take advantage of low PP moves like Fire Blast or Hydro Pump. The set with Imprison is my personal favorite way to use Dusclops, but the Pokemon actually has a massive amount of options that are kind of unexplored. Calm Mind and Ice Beam can be used to give Dusclops a bit of snowball potential, and even act as a win condition sometimes. Dusclops gets Focus Punch, which can nail an incoming Pursuit Tyranitar, or a Blissey trying to heal or use a status move. Mean Look and Ghost type Curse can trap and eliminate certain enemies. Snatch or Psych Up could help Dusclops 1v1 enemies like Suicune, and even Pain Split can be pretty nice. Pain Split will average the HP of both Pokemon, and then set their HP to that amount. Since Dusclops has low base HP, and most of its bulk comes from those high defensive stats, you will often gain a huge amount of HP, and lower the enemy's HP significantly when using Pain Split, especially against high health targets like Blissey or Snorlax. Although Dusclops is difficult to fit on teams compared to Gengar, who has more immunities and more useful applications overall, on certain defensive team structures, Dusclops can really shine and help out in otherwise difficult matchups. The recent rise of Pokemon like Misdreavus and Sableye in the competitive scene just goes to show the sheer value of Ghost typing in this metagame. This is a typing that can really make up for a lot of shortcomings. I have a feeling that there's more to explore with Dusclops. This Pokemon just has so many interesting options that I'm sure could enable unique strategies. What do you think of Dusclops? Who's your favorite ghost type to use in Gen 3 OU? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments. And thank you for watching. For no particular reason, I would like to thank Austin. And thank you to the patrons. Become a patron to appear on this magnificent end screen alongside your favorite Pokemon.
The money got different, cause of what I'm spending. The money got different,
oh, it's
cause of what
Magneton!
I'm spending.
Whoa,
The money
KO'd
got
by one
different,
hit! It
cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different.